Hey everyone, I am excited for today's video for a couple different reasons. The first part is I was asked to be part of a group of women over 30 who make beauty videos, and we all came together and we are sharing one beauty tip with you. And the second part is I feel like that the beauty tip that I'm sharing is beneficial to everyone, no matter if you wear a lot of makeup or not. So the collaboration, if you will, it's not really a traditional collaboration where you have to go and subscribe to a bunch of other channels and leave comments. It's basically a group of us that got together over 30. There's some over 30, some over 40, which is the group I'm in, and some over 50. And really, we're just sharing a beauty tip with you. What I'll do is put links to all of their other channels below. So that way, if you enjoy watching people in their 30s, 40s, and 50s, what you can do is check through the people listed, and if there's any that you've never heard of, maybe you want to go and check out their channels. So my tip is to know your skin type. And I know that seems really obvious, but if you know your skin type, you are able to select skincare and a skincare line and products that are going to do more good to your skin than bad. And also, it will allow you to select makeup items that are going to work better and last longer for your skin type. I think many of us already know our skin types or might be familiar. If you do not know your skin type, what I'm going to do is tell you a couple different ways that you can figure it out. And then as I'm talking about that, I'm going to talk about each skin type and let you know some tips on picking out skincare as well as makeup related items. So there's a couple different ways you can figure out your skin type, and one is called a blot test, and I'll talk about that in a minute. The other one is looking in a mirror, especially a magnifying mirror, and I'll talk about some things that you can look for. So with this blot test, what you do is you can take a tissue or a blotting paper. Blotting papers can be found at any a lot of the drugstores. I know Ulta carries them and Sephora. So either use a tissue or a blotting paper. What you're going to do is wash your face with a gentle cleanser. So use something like Cetaphil or CeraVe, something that's not going to strip your skin of all the oils and it's not going to be too moisturizing. So what you're going to do is remove all your makeup and wash your face with a gentle cleanser, and then you're going to pat it dry. You're going to wait a couple of hours, and I prefer just waiting a couple of hours as to sleeping. Some people say to go ahead and go to sleep with nothing on, but I tend to sweat when I sleep, so I think a good test is just to wait 2 hours, and then you're going to put the tissue on your face or the blotting papers. And what you're doing is really looking to see, one, if there's any oil, and two, is it oil all over the tissue or blotting paper, or is it just in certain areas? So you will notice the oil in the tissue because it'll look wet. Same with the blotting papers. It turns a little bit darker in the areas where there is oil. So after you do the blot test, if your tissue or blotting paper has no oil on it whatsoever, and you look in a mirror and you've got invisible pores, you most likely have dry skin. So especially if you feel a kind of tightening or you feel like you need to stretch your skin, that's another sign of dry skin. You'll also notice that you may see more fine lines and wrinkles with dry skin. So if you've got dry skin, some things to look for in terms of skincare, a lot of different brands, I know Dermalogica, Shiseido, even in the drugstore, they formulate their skincare based on your skin type. So you want to look for words such as moisturizing and hydrating. Another ingredient to look for is hyaluronic acid that's going to keep the moisture in your skin. And also with cleansers for dry skin, you want to use a cleanser that's mild, maybe a milky or creamy formula versus a gel-based cleanser. So that's what you want to look for in terms of skincare. Then in terms of makeup, I like to recommend a primer to anyone wearing foundation because I feel like it just makes the foundation, it gives it something to stick to, makes your foundation last longer. So if you use a primer, look for a moisturizing primer. Laura Mercier makes one that's a moisturizing primer. So use the primer, and especially with dry skin, before you put on your makeup, you want to make sure that your skin is definitely hydrated and moisturized. Nothing looks worse than makeup on dry skin that collects on all the dry flakes. So make sure your skin is hydrated. And then in terms of a foundation, you want to look for foundations that have the words hydrating, moisturizing, glowy, dewy. that type of foundation is going to give your skin more of a glow than, say, a matte foundation. The other thing that you may want to look into are cream products. So cream eyeshadows, cream blushes, and bronzers. That type of thing is going to look better on dry skin. Also with dry skin, you want to stay away from powders, heavy powders. They can be your enemy if you've got really dry skin. In the winter, I tend to have really dry skin, and even the nicest brands of powders, I have a Dior one, I have a MAC one, it just looks cakey on my dry skin. Now my Laura Mercier, the mineral foundation, I can get away with wearing that year round, but just be careful if you have dry skin to stay away from too many powder products. If you've done the blot test and you have oil covering the tissue, covering the blotting paper, and you look in the mirror and you see a lot of large pores, you may be prone to acne, you may have more blackheads, you've just got an overall more greasiness or glow to your skin, you most likely have oily skin. All of us produce sebum, which is the oil that comes from our skin, but with oily skin, it usually means that it's an overactive sebaceous gland, so you're just producing more oil than somebody else might be. In terms of skincare, you want to look for products that are formulated for oily skin. A lot of them will say oil-free. You want to be careful with cleansers that you're not using anything too moisturizing. So for oily skin, you most likely want a gel-based cleanser or something that really foams up and can get your skin nice and clean. In terms of moisturizers, look for more water-based moisturizers, something that says oil-free. Now, in terms of makeup, again, I still would recommend a primer, but there are some different brands that make oil-free primers, mattifying primers, so I would start with one of those types of primers. And then in terms of foundation, you want to look for foundations that are more mattifying, something with a matte finish versus a dewy, hydrating finish. You're going to look for words such as long-lasting and matte. Another good product for oily skin is mineral powders. And the ones with silica will really help to absorb a lot of the oils that might be on your face. So powders usually work well for people with oily skin. You also want to stick to powder blushes, powder bronzers, versus the cream blushes that I recommended for the drier skin. So you're going to stick with more powder-based products. And that way, using a mattifying primer or oil-free primer, hopefully your makeup will last a little bit longer. The good news with oily skin is that since you already have that glow, your skin always tends to look a little bit younger than us drier girls where you see the fine lines. If you have, again, no oil on the tissue, but your skin is not totally dry based on the things that I had told you, or you have a little bit of oil through the T-zone, which is your forehead, nose, and chin, you may have normal skin. Even normal skin can be a little bit combination, or you might have combination skin. If you have normal skin, congratulations, because I don't think a lot of people have normal skin, and you probably have the most beautiful skin. Maybe you don't have a lot of breakouts, you just have an even tone to your skin, so you can look for products that are formulated for normal skin. So if you have combination skin, what you want to do is treat the oily parts of your skin as you would oily skin, and the rest of your skin, whether it's normal to dry, as you would for normal to dry skin. So that may mean investing in more products, but as far as I know, there's really not a product that helps with oil control and moisturizing at the same. So really you want to get the different products to use in those different areas. Another thing that I do is, because I tend to get a little combination skin in spring or summer, is I use a different primer in my T-zone. I use the Benefit Professional, which really helps to shrink my pores, and then I use the Laura Mercier over the rest of my skin. So if you have combination skin, it's a little bit more challenging because you've got to really figure out which products are going to work best for you. That's why sometimes with combination skin, I may use, what I've been doing lately is mixing a matte foundation with a dewy foundation, and I find that it lasts a little bit longer. And then what I'll do is just powder the areas that tend to get oily. And the last skin type is sensitive skin. And you're really not going to be able to tell this from the blot test, but you will be able to tell it by looking in a mirror. So when you look in the mirror, you may notice redness, you may notice blotchiness, and you might have some broken capillaries. You may also be very sensitive to the sun and burn easily. You'll notice that fragrance may really irritate your skin. I know with me, I've got sensitive skin, and sometimes even if I use a towel in a hotel, I can break out in a rash on my face and neck. So with sensitive skin, you really want to be careful of a lot of alcohol and definitely fragrance in your skincare. So you want to stay away with a lot of fragrance in your skincare. So look for organic skincare possibly, or something formulated for sensitive skin without a lot of fragrance. The other thing is, if you've got sensitive skin, and I would recommend this to everyone, but if you've got sensitive skin, you want to pay attention more to your hygiene in terms of your brushes, your sponges. You want to make sure that you're really washing those, because if the bacteria builds up and you've got sensitive skin, your skin's really going to react to it. So in terms of makeup, again, you want to look for products that are formulated without a lot of fragrance. And then if you've got sensitive skin, you've usually got another type of skin, dry or oily, so then you would want to pick the products formulated for that skin type. What you may also want to do to control some of the redness is use a primer with a color correction. So I know Smashbox makes a green one that will cancel out any redness. I think L'Oreal makes one, Makeup Forever does, so that way you can cancel out some of the redness. So those are the basic skin types, and just to let you know, your skin type can change. So it can change on a couple different things. On your age, you know, as we mature, a lot of us get drier skin. It can change on the weather. You know, my skin is drier in the winter, it's combination in the summer. Also, the environment plays a big role in it. Where you're living, you know, how much pollutants are in the air, that type of thing. So just keep that in mind, that your skin will change over time and possibly even during each season. So I hope I was able to provide you with a little bit more knowledge about, once you know your skin type, you can really go in and search for products based on that skin type. If you have a tip to share based on your skin type that you want to share with other people, feel free to leave that in the comments section below. I'd love to see that. You know, it could be anything, your favorite moisturizer, your favorite primer for oily skin, that type of thing. And then don't forget to check out the other ladies who are listed below. And if this is your first time to my channel, I would love to have you subscribe. That way you can get caught up on all of my videos. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope y'all have a great day.